and welcome to Fearless DIY Music. My name is Tristan Lass, and today we're going to talk about something truly exciting. We're going to be talking about water slide decals, the kind of decals that you put on your headstock that they can be customized, but most of the time people use them to replace either a damaged sticker, like let's say you've got a Fender Strat and your logo on the headstock has been compromised. You can remove the old logo and put a fresh water slide on. There are a number of different types of guitars that have, that style of headstock marker. And what I want to discuss is Partscasters and water slide decals, because this is something I wrestle with. And I guess there's no better place to start than by picking up a Partscaster, huh? Right here I have a Esquire that I made from parts. This is a Warmoth body that I finished myself, my one and only attempt at the Sunburst, and it turned out okay. And this is a WD Music replacement neck. It's got a modern vintage kind of like, profile. It is a fast neck for a Fender style neck for sure. It has, it's got a relatively flat radius, definitely not a 7 1/4. And I think it actually might be a 12. It's pretty flat. And anyway, there's a huge problem with this guitar and me. Because every time I look at it on the wall, I want it to say Esquire, at least on the headstock, if not Fender Esquire. Because I've always wanted an Esquire, and this used to be more of a standard Telecaster in my collection. And then I decided to go ahead and remove the neck pickup, go with the blank pick guard, and wire it up as an Esquire. And after doing that, I've been bothered by this headstock for years. I've had this guitar completed, for a good, 3 or 4 years. I enjoy playing it tremendously, but I am perpetually bothered by the fact that it has nothing on the headstock. Now, water slide decals, back in the day, I don't remember being able to have access to them unless there was a mail order catalog I wasn't aware of. And I'm talking like back in the, mid to late 80s. But if I went down to my local repair shop in my hometown, he could get water slide decals. And I was always fascinated by that because, it's like, oh, wow. So you can freshen up your headstock, or you can take a no-name guitar and make it look like a Fender. And I think that there is definitely dangerous waters to tread here. I do not support people who would build a guitar like this and then try to pass it off as the genuine article, as if it were manufactured by Fender and that it is a Fender product. Obviously, most of the parts on this instrument that I am holding are Fender licensed parts, or they're clone parts. I think for the most part I'm using the word part too much. I think that I used mainly Fender licensed materials for this entire build in the end. So, but I have a moral problem with the idea that, if I put a water slide decal that says Fender Esquire on this headstock of this particular guitar, am I doing something wrong? I obviously would not try to sell the instrument as a Fender Esquire. I would not go, onto Reverb and list this instrument and try to pass it off. I would never do anything like that. I know that not everybody would be as morally compelled to do the right thing. And I understand that. And I see the evidence of that sometimes when I'm surfing on Reverb, especially when I'm looking at old like Tokai Stratocasters and things like that. There's all sorts of tomfoolery that's going on with water slides in the vintage Japanese and in the vintage American world as well. And you can tell. You can definitely tell when it's not the genuine article. But I can tell maybe somebody without the experience, or a new buyer, or somebody who's just so excited about an instrument may just go ahead and buy it. So back to the question. Let's say you're like me and you have built a Partscaster, and maybe it's a faithful, like every screw, everything is a faithful reproduction of, let's say, your favorite artist instrument. Let's say you're making a Stratocaster a la, Gilmore or something like that. And you get all finished and you've got that blank headstock and you're just like, man, it doesn't look like that guitar unless it's got the logo on it. So is it okay to go ahead and put the logo on? And that is a difficult thing for me, at least, to wrestle with. Is it okay for me to go, okay, I'm just going to put a Fender Esquire logo on this guitar, and I know it'll make me happy at a certain level. And obviously it's been bothering me since I've been asking myself this question for years: should I or shouldn't I be okay with water slide logos on Partscasters? Should I just roll with it? It's not in the shot currently, but my Catalpa wood Strat that's been featured in a couple videos, I opted to do a water slide on it, but I didn't put the Fender part of the logo on. I just put the Stratocaster part on. And I'm just, and I'm still not completely happy with that either, because it's like, oh, I just wish that said Fender on it. Now, does that just make me a Fender fanboy? I know I got the sign back there. That's from the old shop I used to work at, by the way. I'm not sponsored by Fender. I have no affiliation with Fender whatsoever. I just happen to have a lot of Fender style and actual Fender instruments. But back to the point, am I such a fanboy of Fender that I just have to see that Fender logo? Is that something in my brain that I need to change? Am I being irrational by going, that guitar seems, it's not as compelling to me because it doesn't say Fender Esquire on the headstock? Is that just something I need to get over? Do I need to embrace just going ahead and putting logos on things that I have made out of parts and being okay with it? And that's why I made this video. I would like everybody to chime in the comments about your opinions about putting logos on guitars that are not of that manufacturer. Let's not get into the discussion of passing off fakes. I mean, I don't think that anybody, at least I would hope nobody who's watching this, would even be like, entertaining the thought of going, oh, I'm going to make a Partscaster, slap a Fender logo on it, and then ask Fender prices for it. I would hope that nobody in the audience would be doing that anyway. But it's more the idea: is it cheesy? Is it silly to put a logo like that on? Is it even sillier to do a Fender-esque style logo on this guitar where I make, you can get custom ones made where you put your name on there in the Fender style and come up with a different... I don't think I want to go there or would ever go there. But is it silly? Or is it acceptable? Is it okay? Because it's an homage instrument. It's something that I want, I wanted an Esquire. And now I have one and I'd like it to say Esquire on the headstock. Is that a reasonable expectation? Is it okay to satisfy that itch for myself? So let's take a quick listen to this guitar, because I doubt I'll ever come back to this one necessarily as a demo. But for those of you who don't know how an Esquire works, you might wonder, why does it still have a three-way switch when it only has one pickup? Well, the original design was so that, right now, I'm going to leave this in humbucker mode, but this is a splittable pickup that I have back here. So I've got humbucker, single, and then just kind of a squelch switch down there. But anyway, let's just keep it in humbucker mode, and I'll give you a quick demo of how an Esquire works. All right, I've got my tone knob rolled back to probably around 7. We're in the middle position of the switch. All right, so you got that sparkly, what you expect from a Telecaster tone. But keep in mind, I did have my tone control rolled. When you go to the rear position, the tone control is taken out of the circuit. And you notice how much brighter that got. So basically, it's a bright switch. So in the middle, you've got your tone control engaged. To the back, it turns into a bright switch. And then up front, my old friend Mud. And that one just basically puts the blanket on it. I don't find that setting to be very useful unless you're running really high gain distortions or fuzzes, as I've discussed in the past when I've discussed Mud switches. So that's what happens. Basically, we'll ignore this little switch because, you know, most Esquires just have a single coil pickup. But on your main switch, it's just Mud, tone control engaged, tone control out as acting as a bright switch, bypassing it. But I really love this guitar. I want you guys to tell me, is it okay for me to go ahead and buy a water slide logo and have it say Fender Esquire on it? Or maybe just Esquire? But I feel like the half measure's no good either. I don't have a clear answer for myself, so I'm looking for help. Anyway, I'd like to thank everybody for watching. If you've made it this far, I hope you've hit like and subscribe. Also appreciate a share and a comment as well. Have any of you wrestled with this idea of putting a water slide logo on something? What did you end up doing? Did you feel good about it after you did it? Subscriptions have definitely been ticking up, and the comment section is getting more robust every day. Super excited for the future, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Please help me answer this question. Take care.